So Super 7 has posted a cryptic message about an announcement in October, alongside a video from the G.I. Joe cartoon intro. Specifically the intro with the giant Cobra Mothership, but with no real details. So what is Mr. Flynn and Super 7 up to? Let's have some fun and see if we can figure this out. We know Super 7 is not afraid to make a giant toy. They did the huge Thunder Tank, then they followed that up with the humongous Cat's Lair. This playset shows that Super 7 loves detail and also loves to go big. We also know that Super 7 loves G.I. Joe. They make G.I. Joe toys, clothes, figures, even glasses, and I have a couple of those and they're great to drink out of. Then there are the reaction line of figures. These are toys from the cartoon that Hasbro never gave us. They aren't articulated like the original Joes, but are the same scale and really dive into some of the more obscure details from the show. So does this all mean that Super 7 is going to make a toy out of this giant Cobra Mothership? So we didn't really get much of the Cobra Mothership back in the 80s in the comic book or in the cartoon. We did have it in the intro, so you got to see it, every day when you watch the cartoon. And we could, glean some details from it. It was gigantic. It had a bunch of turrets on it. It was almost like a Star Destroyer or the Death Star with this trench run kind of scene with a Rattler, following the shark. And we could see some details. There were some windscreens that were like the eyes. It's kind of vulnerable to being blown up. There was a control room with a globe. And then we see it again in the cartoon in the episode My Favorite Things when we see it escorted by some Rattlers. It definitely looks like a command kind of vehicle, almost like an aircraft carrier, and it looks vulnerable to attack. We see two of them get blown up. So it seems definitely like more headquarters, but something that could transport troops and something that would make a great toy. Hasbro never made this, and it's almost like a mobile terror drone, and in that way I think it would fit into almost anyone's Cobra army. The biggest clue as to what is being announced was in Super 7's pop-up store at the San Diego Comic-Con in 2023. Super 7 had a diorama featuring the Cobra Mothership in battle, with dozens of reaction scale figures and a few trouble bubbles. When I first saw this, I thought it was just a foam prop for the display, but could this be the prototype of the toy? The scale is compressed, but that makes this all the more believable. But to me the big question is, this is going to be the toy, but what's inside? What are the features going to be? This is the real reason I made this video is, I just wanted to speculate about what could be in there. So I started to draw things, but, that wasn't as fun. So I figured I'll just go and, do a 3D model of this and kind of mock everything up. So I just kind of had fun doing it really rough. This is low poly and I did it kind of quickly, but it gets the idea across. So I kind of wanted to think about what would be inside this toy. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to have the center be hollow and have some of those details in there, like the pilot, the see-through windscreen, the big globe, maybe have a throne for Serpentor or Cobra Commander, some turrets with ladders up to them, but also some other great playset features, like some bunks for the troops, maybe a jail, to lock up some Joes, an engine room, so you can try to repair things or keep things running, and then some bombs, some missiles outside. Maybe some of those bumps on the outside are like hard points where the trouble bubbles can kind of lock into, and maybe they get refueled, or that's just so they can detach and fly around. Then when they get low on fuel, come back to the mothership. Now, do I think Super 7 is actually going to do this? I have no idea. It would be fantastic. This is kind of like a dream, mock-up idea for me, and me just having fun. But I think this would be really great for Cobra to have a sort of equivalent to the Mobile Command Center or the General. And I think this is very possible. The way we've seen Super 7's love of G.I. Joe, their respect for the cartoon and some of the fun parts of it. And also, if you look at the Cat's Lair, the amount of detail they put into the interior with all the different rooms that reference the cartoon, I think they might throw in some of these details, and that would just be awesome. Another clue might be this post I saw today that says that it will have lights, removable panels like the Millennium Falcon, come with some trouble bubbles and a pilot. That sounds pretty awesome. And one last thing I want to add is that I think it might actually open on either side, that there are two doors on either wing, and those panels will pop off. You can kind of see it looks like there's a handle at the bottom, and then some of those other details look like they kind of pass through the top panel from the inside. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, kind of speculating and trying to figure out what this new toy is going to be. What will the new Super 7 Cobra Mothership really end up looking like. Personally, I'm really excited we're getting a 3 3/4 inch vehicle and something on this scale and potentially with this much detail and playability. So let me know in the comments, what you think we're going to get. What do you think it's going to end up being like? And again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in the next one. And yo, Joe.